Hey TPT sellers, if you sell on Teachers Pay Teachers, you know the dream. Landing on page one for a popular search term. Top sellers have told me that being in position number one for a high volume keyword is kind of like winning the lottery. It is night and day compared to any other position. Most of us just want to get our resources onto the first page of a search results page. But with today's oversaturated market, that's easier said than done. Why is it so hard now? Well, for one thing, there's more competition. In December 2013, there were only 1 million products on TPT. We can tell this from the product ID number, which gets assigned sequentially. Today, in May 2025, we're well past 13 million products on TPT. It is literally 13 times harder to get seen compared with how things used to be. It's also harder to get on the first page because the TPT search algorithm has evolved. They even pin certain resources at the top of some keywords. And they use something called dynamic re-ranking. Basically, the top results get shuffled around based on how attractive they are to buyers. You can have the best resource in the world. If you don't get seen by the people who are searching for that product, no one buys your resource. So how do we beat the odds and get seen on page one? We have to be strategic about the keywords we target. There's no point targeting a high volume keyword unless you are competitive and you can rank on page one for it. Do you have lots of reviews? Have you had a lot of recent sales? Does your product get clicked on when people search for that high volume keyword? It's not enough to just make a product and then post it on TPT. So most of us need to hunt for what I like to call keyword niche unicorns. These are mythical, hard to find search terms with higher search volume, so lots of teachers are searching for them, but lower competition, so not many products exist for that term. A TPT seller recently asked me, well, how do you find these keyword unicorns? And that is the million-dollar question. And then yesterday, I was chatting with a TPT seller who's on track to make just under 5K this month, and they said they use ChatGPT to find keywords. So I asked them, can I do a video to test out how good ChatGPT is? And they said, sure. All right, let's do this. Hi, my name is Mike Fuchigami. I am the host of the SEO Tpreneur YouTube community. Can ChatGPT really help us to find high volume, low competition keywords on TPT? Even in a saturated market? Maybe. Today, we're going to put that to the test with some real data. I'm going to use ChatGPT in two ways, and you can do this completely for free. We're going to use a basic ChatGPT account, and then we're also going to use deep research mode, which is now available to everyone. And stick around to the end. I'll also share a couple of tools I use to speed up the research. Before we jump into ChatGPT, let's quickly set the stage on why these keywords, these high volume, low competition keywords, matter so much. Like I mentioned, page one is the goal. If your product appears on the first page for a popular search, it's going to be seen by exponentially more buyers. If you're on page 2 or 3, most buyers don't get that far. It's a bit like the difference between having your product displayed on the front window of a store versus tucked away in a back aisle. Now, a high volume, low competition keyword, so a keyword niche unicorn, is kind of like finding a shortcut to that front window display. It means lots of people are searching for that term, but there aren't many competing products. If you can create a great resource for that keyword, you have a much higher chance of ranking on page one because you're not competing against tens of thousands of other sellers. It's an opportunity gap. However, and this is important, even a keyword unicorn doesn't guarantee you will hit the number one spot or make tons of sales. TPT's algorithm with its dynamic re-ranking looks at how buyers interact with the results. And if your product doesn't get recent clicks or conversions, it might even get shuffled down, even if you've optimized for TPT SEO. Think of it like this. A keyword unicorn is like starting a race ahead of the starting line. So you are much closer to the finish line, but you still have to run the race well to win. Keywords give us opportunity, but they don't give us automatic victory. All right, now let's get into the experiment and see what ChatGPT can do. The idea is to leverage AI to brainstorm niches that have strong demand but aren't fully saturated with competition. ChatGPT has read a lot of the internet up to a certain point and might have some knowledge of trending topics or common gaps in content. It also has some ability to do some analysis if given the right prompt. So I'm gonna ask ChatGPT the following. I sell on Teachers Pay Teachers. I create resources for middle school English language arts students in the US and Canada. Today is May 17, 2025. Can you come up with some high volume, low competition keywords that I should make resources for? A couple of things to note here. I included the date, May 17, 2025 in my prompt. And that's because I want ChatGPT to consider current trends or seasonal topics. Sometimes providing a date can contextualize the question. I also specified my niche, middle school English language arts, and that I sell on TPT. This way, the AI won't give me generic SEO information about blogs or something else. I'm going to run the prompt in 2 scenarios. The first mode will be the free version of ChatGPT without logging in, and right now that's using GPT 4.0 that anyone can use for free. The second experiment will test ChatGPT's deep research mode, and you need to log in to use this feature. Let's start with the free ChatGPT and see what it suggests, and then we'll fact check those suggestions against real TPT data. Okay, so here I am on ChatGPT. You can tell up here that I haven't logged in, and let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. It's searching the web, and it has a couple of suggestions here. Here we go. Based on current trends and search behaviors, consider focusing on the following keyword themes: context clues practice, figurative language activities, reading comprehension passages, poetry analysis worksheets, grammar games, writing prompts, end of year activities. And then it has more information about how to optimize my listings, which may or may not be correct. Okay, well, let's check this out. The first keyword is context clues practice. If I go to Teachers Pay Teachers, and if I try to type in context clues practice, I can see it's suggesting context clues worksheets, context clues games, context clues vocabulary, context clues task cards. Okay, are any of these keyword unicorns? Context clues practice isn't showing up as a suggestion. It doesn't mean that people aren't searching for these keywords. It just means that people aren't searching for it enough to show up in the top 5. Now we can actually see the search volume for all of these keywords. All I have to do is right click and go into inspect mode. At the top up here, I'm going to click on network. And in this filter box, I'm going to type Algolia, which is the name of the search engine that TPT is powered by. I'm going to go back here into the search, and I'm going to start typing that keyword again, context clues. And you can see as I type, the browser's monitoring traffic and it's pulling up the search queries. I'm going to type context clues practice. I'm going to click on the last entry here about queries. And then I'm going to click on this tab that says response. And one of the cool things here is I can see for the search query context clues, the popularity was 619. So let's write that down, context clues. Popularity is 619. Let's look up the next one here. If I scroll down, I can see context clues worksheets has a search popularity of 264. If I scroll down, I can see context clues games has a search popularity of 73. If I scroll down some more, I can see context clues vocabulary has a search popularity of 62. And if I go one more, I can see context clues task cards has a popularity of 53. But context clues practice didn't show up here. So I know that it must have a popularity lower than 53. The popularity is a score based on how many people are searching for that keyword on TPT in the last month. Based on some experiments, it seems to be heavily weighted for the last 7 days, and popularity will change depending on the season or time of year. So Christmas will be searched a lot in December, but now if I search up Christmas, the popularity is going to be quite low. So figuring out the search popularity is just half of the puzzle. The second half of the puzzle is we have to look up the number of competitors. So I'm going to go to context clues, and I can see up here, there's 41,000 competitors. This is not a niche unicorn because there are too many competitors. If I look up context clues worksheets, I have 11,000 competitors. Not bad, but still, you're competing with 11,000 other resources. Let's go down the list. Context clues games has 4,800 results. That's getting better. What about context clues vocabulary? 17,000 results. And finally, context clues task cards has a search volume of 3,800. So a niche unicorn has high search volume, low competition. This is why it's hard to find unicorns. They are hard to find. The search term so far with the best search volume is 619 with context clues, but no, 41,000 competitors is not easy to compete against. The search term with the fewest resources is this one here, 3,800, context clues task cards, but it has less volume. A popularity of 53 isn't horrible. It could be 20. I'm going to try figurative language activities. I can see it shows up as a suggestion. I'm going to click on this last query for Algolia. And if I scroll to the right here and scroll down, figurative language activities has a popularity of 74. And when I search for figurative language activities, I can see it has 25,000 competitors. That is not a niche unicorn. Now, when I look at this, I can see that, hey, ChatGPT is suggesting based on current trends and search behaviors, consider focusing on the following keyword themes. I'm going to copy this list and I'm going to ask it to give me the exact keywords. So I wrote here, hey ChatGPT, rather than give me keyword themes, can you give me the exact keywords that are higher search volume, lower competition? Let's submit that and see what it says. It's searching the web. It came up with context clues worksheets, context clues practice, context clues activities. Interesting that it's citing the seller blog here. Okay, well, let's look up figurative language worksheets and figurative language games. I'm going to go back to figurative language. There I see figurative language worksheets. I'm going to click on Algolia here, and I see here figurative language worksheets has a popularity of 394. Now, interesting here, figurative language games plural doesn't show up, but games singular does. Let's click on that. Network traffic, figurative language game singular has a search volume of 74. All right, let's look at figurative language worksheets. There are 11,000 competitors. That's not ideal. And then if I look up figurative language game, I can see there's 4,400 results. Now, sometimes people ask me which one of these is a niche unicorn, and it really does depend on the product that you have. So if I have an existing product for figurative language worksheets, I would look on the first page and I'm looking to see how many reviews these first resources have. The first one has 484. The next one has 369. I see 617. I see 57. I see 1,200. I see 232. Now, some of these resources might be pinned to the top, but if I'm coming out with a brand new product, figurative language worksheets is going to be hard to rank for because there are 11,000 competitors and the people on this first page already have hundreds of reviews. It's going to be hard for my new resource to compete with that. Whereas figurative language game only has 4,400 competitors. And on the first page, I see, 213 reviews, 274 reviews, 51 reviews, 878 reviews, 19 reviews. So it is easier to rank on page 1 for this because the resources on page 1 haven't sold as much. He's a product with 8 reviews. Now that might be an outlier that's pinned, but when I scroll through here, I see most of the products around the hundreds. So this is another contender. We have a popularity of 74. We have a popularity of 53 up there. I'm going to look at one more suggestion, and these are reading comprehension passages, and I'm smiling because I already know this term. All right, let's check this out. I'm going to search up reading comprehension. It shows up here. If I dive into the keyword traffic, here we go. Reading comprehension passages has a popularity of 157. And when I search for it, I can see there's 280,000 competitors. What about reading comprehension worksheets? If I look at the traffic, I can see here reading comprehension worksheets has a popularity of 99. And if I search up that term, I can see there's 370,000 results. Finally, let's try reading comprehension activities. And I can see here in the search traffic, it has a popularity of 36 right now. And it makes sense that these numbers are low because it is the end of the school year. If I search that up, there's 640,000 competitors. So those are not keyword niche unicorns. And chances are you've already tried this where you've asked regular ChatGPT for high volume, low competition keywords, and then you get spit back some keywords that are not low competition at all. So let's try something different. Let's see if using the more advanced deep research mode of ChatGPT gives us better results. In order for this to work, you have to log into your free ChatGPT account. And when you've logged in, you can see that there is a prompt here that says deep research. And if I hover over it, mine says 4 available until June 15th. So if you're using the free version of ChatGPT, you get to use 5 deep research questions. If you have the paid version, you can ask up to 25 questions per month. So I'm going to use the exact same prompt. I'm going to click on deep research mode. It's selected, so it's blue. And now I'm going to submit this prompt. And right away, I notice something. ChatGPT asks me a few clarifying questions before giving me the information. It's trying to be thorough. So it's asking me, question number 1, are you looking for seasonal or evergreen topics or both? I'm going to answer that right now. I'm looking for topics to make right now. A word of caution. The moment I hit enter, it's going to submit my response and it's going to start to do my research. I don't want it to start yet before answering all my questions. I'm just going to answer all these questions in the same paragraph. Question number 2. do you want to focus on specific ELA skills, writing, grammar, test prep, reading comprehension? And I said, I want any high volume, low competition keyword that fits my audience. So middle school ELA. Question number 3, are there any specific formats you prefer to create? Worksheets, task cards, digital activities, escape rooms? And I wrote, give me the best keywords with the highest search volume and the lowest competition on TPT. And finally, it's asking me, do I want to prioritize US, Canadian, or mixed curriculum standards? I'm going to answer, I want to focus on US. So I wrote number 4, prioritize US. Here we go. Let's submit my response. It tells me it's going to look into some high volume, low competition keywords. And now what's different from before is it says starting research and there's a progress bar. And if you click on it, it now says conducting a keyword search. If I click on this progress bar, it opens up a sidebar, and on the right-hand side, it shows me its thinking process. So I'm mapping out essential TPT keywords for mid-May 2025, focusing on high-volume, low-competition keywords like end-of-year activities and summer prep for middle school. And then it searches for TPT middle school ELA. Okay, I'm gathering info on TPT trends and SEO strategies. And now it's looking for Teachers Pay Teachers SEO tools. And I can see that it's found the sellerblog.teacherspayteachers.com. If I click up here at the top tab, it says 3 sources. I can see the sources of what it's finding. If I go back to activity, it found the list of keywords that TPT has posted in the past. Neat. It's found sellerspy.co, so it's sorting clues into mid-May 2025. Woo! It found SEOtpreneur.com. The SEOtpreneur blog indicates that the term escape room ranks 2,531 in popularity. That's interesting. I can see the progress trend. We're about 30%, 40% of the way through this research. Now, I did this as a practice question yesterday. And yesterday when I asked the question, it was looking at Google search trends and it was looking at general internet search volume tools. And I wonder if it's going to do the same process. Okay, so it says it's analyzing with Python. So Python is a programming language. A TPT seller asked me this morning in our Saturday chats on the pro community, and we were talking about how accurate ChatGPT is or isn't, because ChatGPT hallucinates a lot. And I find if I use the free version of ChatGPT, that's using model 4.0 right now. In the paid version, I have access to other models. I use 4.0 for most tasks, but when I'm doing lesson plan creation that requires a deeper analysis, or if I'm doing coding, I use the model called O3. I find that goes through more thinking process. And then if I wanted to do a very deep analysis of something and I wanted to use a lot of server power for it, I would use this deep research mode. Because you can see right now, it's already spending a lot more time trying to answer the question. And this helps it hallucinate a little bit less. There are limitations. We'll talk about that more. Okay, interesting. I'm considering offline methods like using alternative libraries for Google Trends, or relying on guesswork and available SEO tools since the environment lacks an internet connection. So I wonder if the AI is going to look at Google Trends to figure out what people are searching for. It's still analyzing right now. We're about maybe 50, 60% of the way done. Interesting that it's searching my site, SEOtpreneur.com. I must have a blog post in there doing an analysis of the TPT seller keyword terms. That tells me it's looking for secondary sources of information out there. It's crawling the internet to see what it can publicly find about search volume. What? I'm gathering insights on the video from February 3rd, 2025. Okay, so it's found that list of keywords from pre-K to K, it's outdated for June 2023. It may not be suitable for mid-2025. It's gone back to the seller blog. Interesting. So it says, I'm curious about simulating a TPT search using Python, possibly through their API or HTTP requests, and considering the dynamic nature of the search page. So I wonder if AI will eventually be able to look up the search results and see how many competitors there are. And we're done. So it says here, research completed in 10 minutes, 19 sources, 57 searches. And that has a lot more in-depth analysis and search power than your standard ChatGPT search. Now, this is interesting. So it's showing the search volume from SEOtpreneur.com. Ooh, and it has the direct link. Let's click on that to see what it says. Exact keyword search volume. And then there's the video. It talks about how to find the popularity score. So it's looking at some of the results, but it's not doing the analysis itself. So these estimated search volumes will be incorrect. They'll have already changed. They're not live. It's given me a table with estimated search volume and competition, but only a few of these have low competition. Let's look up summer writing prompts, and we'll click on the last query for Algolia. Summer writing prompts right now has a popularity of 620. And if I search that term, there's 13,000 results. 13,000 is not ideal. What about ELA pacing guide year plan? Nothing shows up as a search term for that. I am going to search this up to see what kind of competition there is. So there's 1,500 competitors for this, but I can't get a sense of search volume. That doesn't mean that this isn't a good keyword to make a resource for. It just means that the search volume is low and TPT won't suggest it. It's lower than 15. I'm really disappointed with this. I can see it for deep research. I have 3 available until June 15th. I'm going to try to have a conversation with ChatGPT to see if I can get better information. So I wrote, I'm really disappointed with this. I'm looking for higher search volume, lower competition keywords. Lower competition means fewer number of resources on the TPT search engine's results page. Let's see what it says when I hit that. It's thinking, oh, that's disappointing. It's not doing a deep research at all. But what it has done is there's a new table here with some more keywords with low competition. All right, it's given us a bunch of terms here. End of year fun packet, summer writing prompts, middle school ELA escape room, reading comprehension passages, grammar review game, and vocabulary task cards. And it thinks it has low competition for all of these. So let's see if that's actually the case. End of year fun packet has a popularity of 312. It has a search volume of 9,600. All right, that's better than 10,000. Summer writing prompts has a search volume of 620 right now and 13,000 results. By the way, what I would do is I would dive deeper with the grades. So for example, summer writing prompts first grade only has 3,200 competitors and it has a popularity of 38. So that might be a niche unicorn for you. Middle school ELA escape room doesn't show up. It comes up with other things like fun ELA activities. Okay, so middle school escape room. It's not middle school ELA escape room, but it gives us a sense of possible search volume. So I'm going to put 31 in brackets. And if I search this up, we have 35,000 competitors. That's not ideal. I won't be going after that. It's suggesting reading comprehension passages, which has a popularity of 157 and 270,000 competitors. That's not ideal. Grammar review game doesn't have a high enough popularity to get suggested as a search term. And if I look at the competitors, we're looking at 17,000. And vocabulary task cards also doesn't show up as a search term, but that's okay. It's got 67,000 competitors. I probably won't be going after that. Based on the deep analysis, the best unicorn it could find was end of year fun packet, 312 popularity and 9,600 competitors. Wow, that is so interesting and opposite from what I was expecting. I was expecting to get a lot better answers with the deep research mode. For me, I think the best niche unicorn might be context clues task cards because it only has 3,800 competitors. I guess figurative language games has around the same number of competitors, 4,000, and the popularity is 74. It's a little bit higher, but those popularities will fluctuate up and down depending on the time of year. Finding a niche keyword unicorn is a big advantage, but it's not a golden ticket. You still need to have a great product that satisfies what buyers are looking for. You still need to communicate the perceived value of the resource through good covers, thumbnails, accurate descriptions. Think of a keyword as giving you a fighting chance. You're not drowning in a sea of 50,000 other products. Maybe you found a niche unicorn that only has 3,800 competitors, and so you're competing with them in that smaller pool. Before we wrap up, I need to acknowledge some limitations and a couple of tools that can help you in the journey. As we saw, ChatGPT can't directly see TPT's data, so then it doesn't know real-time popularity scores or exact competition counts without us checking directly. In the future, who knows? Maybe it'll integrate more with the website. Maybe it'll watch videos like this one and learn how to find that information. But as of now, think of ChatGPT as a brainstorming tool. We still have to double check the numbers. I personally use a spreadsheet-based keyword research tool that I designed for myself, and it pulls in the number of results and popularity for a given keyword automatically. In this video, you saw me writing down numbers manually, but there is a faster way. And this tool is something I provide to members of the SEO Premier Pro community. It's not on my public TPT store because it connects to a server, which costs money. So I keep it as a perk for my pro members because they pay on a subscription basis. So if I go to seotpreneur.com/tools, and if I scroll down, I'm gonna click on this problem. If you want to improve your TPT SEO and rank higher, and that'll show me which of my tools that I need to use. I'm going to use the Pro Keyword tool, so I'm going to click on this button to get it. Let's just log in here. I'm going to get the latest copy of the Pro tool, make a copy of this. I'm going to use the high volume, low competition finder. And earlier, I was looking up context clues practice and I had to find the popularity on the website and go to each page to check the number of competitors. Well, right here, I'm going to type here in this yellow cell, context clues practice. It's going to go to TPT and it just found context clues, worksheets, games, vocabulary, pass cards, and it has the search volumes there. And if I scroll to the side, what it's done is it shows me the number of resources, the average number of reviews on that first page. And so I get a sense of how hard it is to rank for that. So what I do then is I copy these rows and I just go right click copy. I go to my research tab and I just go right click paste special values only. Now I'm going to work at mic speed here and it's going to be a little fast. But one of the things you get when you sign up for the pro membership or when you sign up for the self-serve data tool is you get a 30-minute onboarding call with me where we talk about your store. And then I show you step-by-step how to use whatever tool that you're interested in. So if I go a little bit fast here, don't worry because I'll explain it slower and in more detail during the call. Next keyword was figurative language activities. So I'm going to copy that and put it on my research page. I might just look up figurative language worksheets. I'm going to copy those responses and put them on my research page. Heck, I might just look up figurative language and I'll copy all of these and put it on my research page. Next up, I had reading comprehension passages, paste them onto my research page. So I'm just brainstorming reading comprehension worksheets. I'll just copy them all. Not all of them are relevant and I'll show you what I do next in a second. Reading comprehension activities. Now, the more that I use a Google Sheet tool, the slower it will get. That's because Google Sheet has a built-in mechanism to slow down how quickly it searches the internet. And that's just so it doesn't overload the servers out there. So let's just copy these responses and put them on my research page. And I'll do one more summer writing prompts. All right, it's slowing down. So let's just copy these responses. This will be my last set right now. If I was really doing research, I would pause and come back later on and the spreadsheet will be working fast again. So not all of these are relevant to what I teach. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a check mark beside the keywords that I could make a resource about. Figurative language, 4th grade doesn't apply to me, so I won't check that off. Reading comprehension passages and questions for 2nd grade doesn't apply, so let's turn that off. Autism reading comprehension worksheets doesn't fit for me, but if you work with students on the spectrum, that's definitely something you should go after because there's only 1,200 resources and it has a popularity rank of 52. So I checked off all the ones that I could make resources for. And then at the bottom of this page, I click on my strategy and it will sort all of the keywords based on popularity. So the best niche unicorn has color for popularity and then color for the number of resources. And unicorns are hard to find, so in this case, we don't have any of those jumping at us. But this one here, figurative language anchor chart, only has 1,000 competitors, but it has a popularity of 108, even in the middle of May as we get to the end of the school year. Figurative language posters, that might be something that I actually make. The reason why summer writing prompt 0 shows up here is because I didn't wait long enough for the data to actually load. But if I hide that information and just look at search volume popularity and the number of resources competitors, probably my best bet is figurative language anchor chart or figurative language posters. Basically the pro tool like this keyword research tool or the self-serve data tool, it's for folks who want to deep dive and use data to drive their decisions. By the way, I also run a training program called the Bucket Repair Bootcamp. It refers to finding the leaking buckets on your TPT product page. If we can use data to close up those leaking buckets, we can make more sales. So in the bootcamp, over a series of 6 weeks, we go through your TPT store data to identify where you're losing potential buyers and how to fix it. Keywords and search optimization is part of that. And participants in the bootcamp get a year's access to all these pro tools that I've mentioned. It's pretty cool. We have lots of aha moments when you see real data about your product performance. The next bootcamp is coming up in June. The first session is next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And if you're interested, check out the link in the video description. The main point is we can use tools to save time if we have the tools, but if you don't have the tools, no problem. The method that I showed in this video using ChatGPT and then manual verification from the website, it works fine. It might take you an hour of research to find a couple of unicorns, but that could be worth a lot in the long run. Now, I have a challenge and a request for you. Try this process in your niche this week. See if you can find a keyword niche unicorn that has solid search volume but not too many competitors on TPT. And then come back and leave a comment letting us know whether regular ChatGPT or deep research mode was able to help you find keyword niche unicorns. If you learned something new today, please subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, Please share this video with your TPT besties. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to hear about your keyword discoveries. Remember, data is your friend, and a little bit of research can go a long way to giving you an edge in TPT. Good luck finding those keyword unicorns. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.